and welcome back to our homestead. Today is a beautiful late October day and the weather is perfect, and I absolutely love the foliage right now we have here in New England. But I also know that this is the time for me to harvest the late things that are growing in my garden. Now, last night we had our first real frost. We woke up and everything was covered in frost. It went down to 30 or 31 Fahrenheit, which means it's cold. But I do like to leave my Brussels sprouts in a garden for at least 1 or 2 real frosts because I love how the flavor intensifies of Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna leave them be. They are, winter kind of friendly. They can withstand cold temperatures. And also I have some kale behind me on the side, big patch, that I'm gonna leave them out for a little bit longer. It's fine, they can also withstand the cold. But other things I'm going to harvest today I'm gonna harvest my beets, and I'm gonna show you how I'm going to preserve it for the winter time. Also, I'm going to harvest my leeks as well, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do a preservation of leeks in a separate video. But today it's all about the beets. It's all about the beets, my red beets. We love beets. Our Slavic blood, Russian, Ukrainian blood, we cook with beets all the time, right? So I love beets, and it's so nutritional, and they're very versatile. So I'm going to be preserving some of the greens from the beets and the beets themselves. The greens are very good to be cooked fresh, guys. It's so good. And today, actually later tonight, I'm going to be making borscht for my family. It's a Ukrainian soup called borscht, and I'm going to be putting my cabbage in it. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I still have cabbage out. I need to harvest that as well. Probably not today. Little girl, you want to come on the camera? Oh, all right. Okay, run. So yeah, the cabbage you need to harvest, maybe not today, some other time, because cabbage is also can stand out on a cold for a little bit as well. But today I'm going to harvest the beets, and I don't have a root cellar. For those of you who have root cellars, I am a little jealous, but I don't have one. My basement is a little bit too warm in the winter. I mean, it's cool, but not cool enough to store beets. Beets like moist, cool environment to be stored in, just like a root cellar. What I'm going to show you how you can do a root cellar, how you create a condition of a root cellar in a cool place, and you can create that damp environment in my garage in a sand. I know we're going to put sand together with beets in the garage, so I'll show you that, guys. Some of the greens are already going kind of dark and very thick leaf, because we've been having some cold temperatures, and that's what they will do. But let me pull one out and I'll show you. Hey sweetie, you gonna help mama? You gonna help mama? I've got turkeys watching me. I've got my cat assisting me. So look at this beautiful foliage right here. Okay, look at this beautiful foliage. Some of it I'm going to discard or give it to my chickens and my goats, but the rest I'm actually going to preserve it. Isn't this beautiful? And the beets are nice, beautiful beets, and we're going to be storing them as well. So step number 1, I need to pull everything out of the garden, put everything out of the soil, and I'm going to put it in my big bin wagon, and I'm going to be sorting things through. And I'm not going to use a shovel. I'm just going to literally grab them by the root and pull them out. So look what happens when the beets don't have a lot of space to grow. And these two were growing right next to each other. See how one didn't have enough space and it's so little? That's unfortunate. So beets do need to be thinned out in a spring, and they need a lot of space to grow so they will create a nice, beautiful root like this. All right, let's start by just separating them. This is a really small one, but a cute one. It's gonna roast beautifully. And what I'm gonna do is I just need to separate them, and I'm gonna rip them off. You can use scissors or clippers, but I'm gonna leave about 1 inch of stems on my bulb, just like this, okay? I'm not gonna cut them right to the bulb. I'm gonna leave a little bit attached to it. And I'm gonna just put it in my basket, okay? And then I'm going to look through my greens, and these greens are really not that great of a shape, so I'm just going to give them to the animals. And that's exactly what I'm going to do, going through all of them right now. This is a much bigger one. Come over here. Oh goodness. Much bigger one. Again, I'm just going to rip above, remove any kind of wet or kind of like decomposing pieces just like that because I want it to be nice and clean. I'm gonna save this, okay? I'm gonna look through my greens, and some of these greens are really good, some of them are not. So I'm just gonna go through them and just kind of separate and see which ones I wanna save for freezing and which ones I wanna give to my animals, okay? Again, about an inch above, and you can either cut them or just separate them, clean it up, make sure it's nice and clean. And then I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna store them. Hey, listen, also, I'm not gonna wash them. I'm gonna leave them just like this. And if there's a little bit of soil left, it's okay. I'm just gonna shake it off, but it's nice and clean otherwise, and that's exactly how I'm gonna store them, okay? Beets are very nutritious vegetable to have on hand. Beets are high in folate, iron, potassium, fiber. It has a lot of fiber, even though it's quite sweet. So for people who are on ketogenic diet, if you're gonna eat beets, eat in very small amounts because they do have natural sugars. Okay, so now what equipment will you need? Well, I'm gonna be using a plastic bucket, a large plastic bucket just like this, or you can use any kind of vessel you want. The only thing I will not recommend is cardboard box. That will not work very well. And you're gonna need a moist, slightly wet made material. So either wood chips of some sort, like wood shavings, or sand. And I purchased sand at a local construction store, and it's just all-purpose sand. That's all. And I'm gonna get it a little bit slightly moistened with water because it needs moisture. Now, also it needs cool temperatures. Root vegetables such as beets and carrots, they love to be stored in a cool environment, not freezing because they don't want to be frozen, but a cool environment such as mid to low 40s. So that's exactly the temperature that my garage will be in the middle of the winter. Right now it's 40s to 50s, but in the cold winters it can go down even as low as 38, but still that's not freezing, so it's perfect. Okay, so what I did was I just put about a couple of inches of sand, moistened sand. And how moist the sand is, if I pick it up, okay, and I squish it with my hand, it almost like creates like a shape to it, okay, but it's not awfully wet, like water is not dripping from it, okay. So I put the first layer of beets, and I left about an inch in between as well. And now I'm gonna cover with sand again, all right, and I'm gonna make sure everything is covered with sand again. All right. So everything is covered again. I'm going to make sure that everything is covered again. And like I said, if you feel that the sand or wood shavings are dry, then you add a little bit more moisture to it, a little bit more water, okay? All right, so let me see. I bought 2 bags because I knew I have a lot of beets, and I'm going to need a lot of material. Okay, just dampen them down a little bit. Now I'm going to put the second layer again. All right, I'm going to take my beets and I'm going to layer them down again with, again, about an inch in between, just like that. And I'm going to put them in layers and keep covering them in layers. Some people even use garden soil from the garden, slightly moistened as well. I've never tried garden soil, I'll be honest. I only tried wood shavings and sand works a little bit better than wood shavings. But wood shavings worked as well, and I remember storing it a couple of years in a row I've done it, and it came out really, really good. And it's very rewarding to go into your basement or into your root cellar or into your garage, wherever you can store it, and take out what you need and make dinner for your family. You don't have to run to the grocery store. All right, just like that. And again, I'm gonna take remaining of the sand and cover everything. All right, this is my last and third layer, and I'm going to cover everything with slightly moistened sand. Same thing can be done to other root vegetables that require moist environment. Not potatoes. Potatoes need dry and airflow. So this will not work for them. And what's good about this sand, it can be reused again in some other homesteading projects in the spring, or I can just save it again for storing my root vegetables. All right, so that's it. I think I have enough to cover everything. And now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this empty plastic bag, and I'm gonna cover that, because that's gonna help to kind of lessen the escape of moisture. Okay friends, so this is how I'm gonna store my beets for the winter months, and it's gonna last me all the way through winter into the spring. So I hope you are encouraged to raise your own vegetables, because I started those beets from seed, tiny little bitty seeds, and look at them now being stored away. And we've been eating all season long, and now I'm gonna be eating even longer, all the way into the winter. And you know how much your family consumes, so store enough for your family. On this note, friends, I hope you are encouraged to know how to store your root vegetables. So be encouraged and try something new.